I can't get these memories out of my mind, and some kind of madness has started to evolve. I tried so hard to let you go, but some kind of madness is swallowing me whole. Yeah, I have finally seen the light, and I have finally realized what you mean. And now I need to know, is this real love, or is it just madness keeping us afloat? And when I look back at all the crazy fights we had, it's like some kind of madness was taking control. Yeah. And now I have finally seen the light, and I have
Right, so let's try this again.
It was unplugged.
No, it was plugged in. It just when the computer restarted, it didn't get the audio. So
I saw him plug it
yeah. Anyway,
What
so
do we do with that?
silliness abounds. Technology is really loving me today. Not at all. Sorry I missed last week. Work sucked. You guys that can read lips already knew that. Those of you who can't, well, what's stopping you? Welcome back to Glassbreakers Guild. We are short a couple of people tonight. Lance obviously is not here. I am sitting in his spot.
Stole your spot.
Kyrie is not here as well. Had some family obligations come up, so she is off doing that. So it's going to be a small group tonight, but we are here to have fun, and we hope you guys are too. We got a special treat for you guys a little bit later, and
Well, we kind of have it now.
well, we have it now, but I'll turn it on later.
Oh, okay.
Because right now all it is just me.
Oh,
Right,
right.
it's just this side of the table.
Gotcha.
And I totally got sidetracked.
Sorry.
Special surprise.
Special surprise coming up later. Chipper Snacks is going to help us out with that, and we're looking forward to having her kind of tell you guys a little bit about what she's going to be doing tonight for us. other normal announcements, we've got the YouTube channel. You can find stuff on YouTube, back episodes. Missed putting up last week's because life has been hectic. That'll get up. This week will get up. We also put up everything that we do that is additional content, such as Cover Your Assets.
There's only 2 episodes that cover your assets on there.
Right. We're going to do a third one tomorrow. We're going to do a third episode of Cover Your Assets tomorrow.
A third one that will be recorded and put on the YouTube
Did
channel.
not know this until just now.
So we are going to be doing that tomorrow.
We're going to be working
need
on the rest of the Gunslinger class.
Yes, we do need to finish up the Gunslinger class. That was our first episode, so we're going to...
That was our second, technically.
Oh, was it our second?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the first one was just discussing what we wanted to put in this crazy idea of podcast
it will be a continuation of our second episode for our third episode.
And the third one's missing.
Oh, sorry,
the original third one missing, where we polished the Gunslinger rules, is not on the channel, but you'll get...
Is it not?
No, we only have 2 Cover Your Assets on the YouTube channel.
Clearly I'm falling down on the job. So we'll get that straightened out. There's stuff on the YouTube channel. Check it out.
I know, I wanted to...
We don't know what stuff, but it's there.
I don't even know what's up there anymore. So, yeah.
I went on a binge yesterday just looking at what we have. So.
We do also have our Discord server up and running. It's a good place to keep in touch with what's going on here on this channel, as well as with Kyrie and with Danny when they do creative streaming. It's a good place to just interact with us and see what's going on. We make announcements there. We talk with you guys. We have a lot of fun. That's all I've got. So I'm going to turn it over to the DM.
Hello.
And that will be Danny.
I'm Danny. You guys know that. But we're going to try something different today. There is a thing that is called what streaming?
It's squad streaming, and we're not set up strictly for squad streaming.
We can't
yet.
figure out the squad streaming this week, so we're going to have to do something a little different. But for those of you who might not know, which all of you probably do, Chipper is, we joke about her being a fan, but she's also, wait, she just sent you a link. Should we mess with this now or later? They can use that too? So do we put that in our description? Can we edit our description to include that? How does this work?
I might can do that. From here.
She might be able to fix us on this. I don't know.
We'll see.
But if not, there's this little mini window in there.
Copy message.
Keith figured out how to hack the system and throw
hacking time.
Yes, hacking time and throwing on Chipper Stream onto our screen. But I feel like it would probably be easier if he could make the little thingerbob work. Since we do have fewer people, this is going to kind of start off as a little bit of an experimental stream and see if we can figure this out. And then we'll move into the campaign and cripple a couple of folks.
What?
Well, they didn't show up,
cripple.
and I have to figure out what to do with them, so you all have these convenient things that I can do, like breaking your legs and stuff like that, and just make you ineffective. So, they're gonna no-show me. We're gonna do other things. Not that they didn't tell me that they're not gonna be here. That's but some creative DMing involved in their lack of presence.
I mean, I feel like this is a good stream to do the experimental, trying to figure stuff out on.
Yeah.
Since we don't have everybody and
Just the 4 of us.
Just the 4 of us. Wait, 5.
We can make it.
Well, 4 of us in the DM.
Actually 6.
6 technically, yes. We have a no player here. She can start rolling for everybody.
Ooh, she'll eat the dice.
But then when she spits them back out,
that's the roll that counts.
the slobber roll is the important one.
Ha! Ha ha!
I feel like that's like a spitball in baseball, which is illegal.
Especially
The
now.
puns are strong with this crowd.
Coronavirus ball.
I see a future DM lurking in the background. Yes, you do, poser, and she's the cutest. She will be the cutest of the DMs ever.
Don't eat the poker chips.
Don't eat. I know you
Not
said
a
poker
sentence.
chip, but what I heard was booger chip.
Actually, that's what I heard too.
Okay, not just me. I mean,
I heard you.
Sorry,
You
I
shouldn't
shall
eat poker.
pronunciate better.
You shouldn't eat poker or booger
or
chips.
booger chips, you know, just generally speaking.
But chips are okay.
Go live
Chip-
notification.
chips.
That's not really a good way to do it.
Well,
Uh,
by the way,
Sorry, technical difficulties. We're still working on this. Just a second.
don't feed your
We might
kids chips before
figure
they're
this out.
4.
They will choke
This
on them.
You'll go to the ER. It'll be fun.
And
what?
they will be really nice to you because they see it all the time, but you will still feel like a bad parent.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Oh.
We thought it was still stuck in her throat.
It was not. She was cleared, but
Better safe than sorry.
It had scratched up her esophagus.
That's not where I want it either. I don't know. I
As,
can't do it.
as the man in green mumbles to himself, I think he has discovered that he's having some issues there.
I like that shirt.
It is. It's a good shirt.
Good shirt.
But we have, I have you guys going.
But are they going? Because I just see nothing. I see where Chat would be in her tiny in the little spot over there. But there is not moving video.
It's a whole.
Sorry, Chipper, we're working on
There's
this.
a whole other world down there.
There's like shelf things you can put things on and seal.
Partially, this is also selfish, just because I want to be able to see what it is that you're drawing while we're doing this. There is a baby on my foot.
On top of it and be a little fort.
I'm just warming up the DM pipes with the baby. Don't mind me.
Oh, come back.
And there's a player under the table.
Aaron, come here. Oh, come here. This little snake got away from me.
Today is kind of a good time since it might end up being a shorter stream anyway. But
We shall see.
Get back out.
yeah, we shall see. And I would also. What are you? Well, oh.
Sorry.
You're fine.
What?
If I just typed some random thing into somebody, sorry.
Okay, I got her. It's fine. Oh, hey, let's leave the mustaches here.
That was a sentence.
What a very interesting stream.
We're off to a strong start tonight, guys.
She went that way and I couldn't catch up because the thing was in the way.
You're not small enough.
Nope.
Although it is really fun to start stream with like a baby and a player under your table. I just feel like that's.
I mean, it's kind of cool. Like there's like where the legs are. There's like a shelf thingy.
I now have the best place for a blanket fort.
You do.
Awesome.
And it's basically a chalkboard.
Even better.
There's like
Excellent.
a couple of hand.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Are you able
And you're
to
down there
make?
playing with chalk? No.
Were you able
grab
to
chalks that
get
had,
her
like
into
rolled
the little
out
window
of the
there?
blanket fort?
Will it actually play?
No.
I don't know what it's doing.
It doesn't look like it's doing anything. Like there is a screen there.
Yeah,
Is this working on your end at all, Chipper? Like, were you able to use the magical link of friendship? The magical link of friendship.
It's from nothing. I just knew exactly what she was going to say.
Oh.
Okay, so that's just not gonna work apparently.
Dang.
Boo.
You are magical and special. This is true. Well, if you want to, you can leave us up and we can maybe do... We intended on doing a tutorial, or not a tutorial, but a test on this yesterday so that we would know what the heck was going on and would know how to co-stream. But we were not able to. Thank you, husband. Can I have my screen back?
One here.
He stole my screen!
That's weird.
I mean, Erin.
There we go. Whoa.
Oh, that's a fair
No, it's a very...
That's a...
She's had it in her mouth like the whole time. It's fine. I don't think it matters. Immune system boost or something.
Immune system.
I think we should have hand sanitizing stations.
What is it? Just a
Okay, so something just popped up.
Oh, something
I was just
happened?
gonna say it's a
Something
pump
happened?
that just
Oh, wait,
disputes
something
mud into your
happens.
hands.
I don't know what.
Oh.
Hang on.
Just
Have you seen
happened.
The Office?
something good might have happened. Maybe we're magical and special too.
Yes.
Maybe not.
No.
I don't know. Oh! I see. Oh, I saw a drawing. Where'd it go?
It looks
What is that in the corner?
It looks like a bottle. Like with a cork.
Maybe she's gonna have all of us drinking because that's how the stream is starting right now.
I wish I had something to drink.
Come on, pull loose. There we go.
Special too.
Yes.
No, maybe not. Nope. Wait. Yes. No. Maybe so.
I would like to apologize to our watchers, as we are experiencing some,
We could have a sing-along meantime.
What would you like to sing along to, Stephen?
Look down, don't look him in the eye. Look down, you'll wait until you
I
die.
can't sing that low. Look down. Yes, I can.
Discoveries.
So the only problem with this
I guess we're
is
waiting for that to figure it out.
it's sitting over the top of your map. So when you want to use the map,
Now bring me prisoner 24601.
So we're actually multi-streaming?
You know what that means?
Yes, it means I'm free.
should be.
This is the thing?
She's streaming. We're streaming. Supposedly they're all together.
Okay.
In the eye.
I hear us.
Is that Steven singing?
That
sorry,
was a
I'm-
second ago. No, you're fine.
Don't
okay.
apologize.
Okay, and keeps turning off the stream, which is not helpful. Okay. So,
Oh, that would be fun to do like a
we're actually
karaoke night.
multi-stream? We could do
Or
it.
like Dance Dance Revolution.
This is a thing? Okay. So Chipper,
We're streaming.
I think
We just don't have it on our side.
I hear us. We don't. Wait, what? That was a second ago. No, you're fine. I'm
So-
so confused.
So her drawings are not going to show up on our stream.
Well, that's not cool. Okay.
People
Like,
know what are hers.
so why?
Fun to do like a karaoke.
We could do
Or like
it.
Dance Dance Revolution.
She's going.
Okay.
Try
We will try this again later on as well, but that's okay. We at least might have kind of started to figure something up. Oh, I see like 12 of me now, and it's really trippy. Okay.
And they're all at different.
Yes, they're
delays.
all at
So
different
her
delays,
drawings
and
are
it's
not gonna show up
really
on our
trippy.
stream.
Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and start this shindig and see what happens. All right.
Hey Chipper, send that link again if you would, please.
Yeah, send the linksies. If some weird, random, bizarre thing happens and stream crashes or does something weird, just let me know, because I think Keith is going to be fiddling over there at the same time that we're also doing.
I'm going to be
this,
fiddling while Rome burns. So.
Yeah, so just in case he accidentally burns the world down, let me know. Alright, so,
Chipper,
okay.
send that link
Hi,
again, if you would, please.
Hi Zion! So this is a weird stream. We're missing a couple of people, so we were starting off trying to test out if we could co-stream with Chipper while she draws. We're having not the greatest luck with that. We're probably going to try again later too, but I think she's got it up on her end so that you can watch both simultaneously. So if anybody would like to, check out the link that she is leaving there, and I think that you can do both.
It's going to take you to a site where you can multi-stream. That's what it's going to take you to. So
Okay.
you'll have 2 streams going. We had hoped to be able to have her stream up on ours, and that's just not working right now.
It's not going so well for us.
Couldn't you just go to Twitch on there and then just put her on full screen where our map would be?
We tried that, and it wasn't. And also we'll be using the map, but
Yeah.
yeah. So the stream was not loading into ours, so it showed that she existed, but nothing was happening. So it's okay. We're gonna like if you want to co-stream, if you want to have both going at the same time, you can. That is an option. So yeah, we can we're gonna go ahead and start this off and see what we can do. Yeah, we'll figure it out at some point. For those people who can do it, they can do it now. So Mazel Tov to you. Go on about your business and check us out and her out all at the same time. Okay, let me do one quick thing here, and then we can get this show on the road. Huzzah! All right. So, when last we left our intrepid voyagers, who would like to do the recap?
I have a baby.
I guess I can do it.
Go for it, Brayden.
So, last time we had just rewoken up in the town of Cannibal Cove. We purchased a few things from the local magic shop, and then we dealt with some Tweedle business. And then we headed out to a meeting that was supposed to be going on in a chapel somewhere. We arrived and found a collection of acolytes.
All at the same time. We can get this.
Something. And found out that one of them was a Slod. After some talking and trying to figure out what we wanted to do, we decided to defeat the Slod. And the other acolytes turned into other Slods. There was a fight. We killed the 2 minor Slods and buried the other Death Slod.
Because we shrunk him and put him in a bottle.
Yes.
And we did not kill him.
Well, no.
We filled the jar with water.
And then buried it.
Yes.
Yes.
And I believe that's it.
I believe so. All right. So we kind of ended with the end of combat there. Steven. Your sword, immediately after, you hear Cassia's voice speak up. And you hear this this very sweet, like, did we do good enough?
Good enough. You were wonderful, dear.
Then you kind of almost feel from your gut this pulling back of the children. And this voice that it almost feels, when the kids speak to you, it almost feels as though you are listening to them in your ear, even though that's not what's happening. There is definitely like a verbal component to this communication. But as they pull back, what you end up feeling is this strange sinking in the pit of your stomach and this darkness, and you feel the words in your bones. Must collect. And you can feel the sword dragging you towards the downed Slods. When you touch one of them with the sword, the 2 that you have administered the final blow to, at least I think that's how that went down.
I think so.
You feel this almost suction force, and you can kind of see how hollow they become afterwards. You get the distinct impression that you are meeting the quiet entity that has been in the back of your sword. He does the same thing with the other. To you personally, this does not seem to have any effect. Like, you can't tell that this has made any difference in what has gone on with you. Like, you don't feel differently. But Yes, that's a thing that happens.
Gross. So the bodies are still there, they're just sort of like desiccated?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're. It's almost as though it tried to take what it could of the body.
Gross.
Yeah. So that's a thing that happens. After it's kind of straw sucked up whatever it was going to there.
Do you have a noise for that?
It would be very Hannibal Lecter-y. Like, it was a... I can't make that sound.
Okay.
I can't do the Anthony Hopkins thing. But yeah, if you can imagine that sound.
It's still weird that I think the food's still delicious.
Annabelle?
But
Looks
yes,
delicious.
you managed to kind of feel this same entity sit back, and the cheerfulness of the children seems to come back forward. Their spirit seems to be the most prominent now again. So yeah, that happens. You guys are out. Let me see. Can I move this? Okay. It's not gonna move the thing on your side, but I can move all the other stuff. Okay, so you guys are currently outside the door there in the back. Where would you like to go from here?
Well, I think Janice wanted to speak to the townsfolk that were coming out tonight.
Oh yeah, I forgot
So...
that that's...
I mean, we can fill the time.
There is the courtyard in front that you can examine. Actually, from my chair, I am going to make a wisdom save roll on Janice's behalf. Because there is an effect he does not know about. And because I'm sitting in my chair, he fails it.
Of course he does.
Because this is how this chair works. So actually, interesting thing, Janice has gone catatonic again.
Gosh
Yeah. So he is bored stiff, and his eyes are large. I really need her to be my sound effect goblin. I just need to be like, anytime there is a beastie, just like, okay, growl.
dang it. Someday when we can channel it a little bit more, I think she'd love it.
I think so. But yes, he's standing there and has gone catatonic at this point as something from the energy of what just happened between your sword and the Slod's has triggered something interesting in his mind that has pushed him into that space that you have seen before. I guess you and Henry were the ones that saw that?
Everyone did.
Everyone did? Okay.
Yeah, he was at the table that way.
Yeah. So now he was standing in that position, very stone-like.
Here we are again.
Hmm?
I'm gonna just gesture over to Janice.
Who said the name?
No one.
No one. Well, perhaps we should check out the rest of the building.
Yeah.
I personally would like to examine the statues.
Okay.
You said there's one of them that is destroyed, though. It's the
Yes.
bottom right that is destroyed, correct?
Yes, from your view, yes. The bottom right in the map would be the destroyed one. When you go in, you see, I'm not going to move your characters right now. It is an empty room, but when you enter, you do see that the 4 statues, 3 of them seem to be of queens. One of them you recognize immediately as being the Red Queen. One of them you recognize vaguely more from the style of the attire than the actual body itself. You would assume that this would be the White Queen's most often assumed form, as you met her in full Chiron formation. The third is a woman that you have not met before. You assume probably to be the Black Queen. Seems to have a crown of shards of some variety, and in very, very regal attire. The artistry on the statues is really, really beautiful. Enjoy the cooing. I love it. But the artistry is amazing. You can see, like, it's almost as though you could reach out and touch tulle in her, in the area around her dress. Like, it's very, the structure of the inside of it is very dense, but as it goes outward, it's very lacy, much more like tulle, and it's sculpted so that it seems like that. So really beautiful statue work. The broken one has a lot of the pieces are missing, and it would be kind of hard to rebuild, but roll me an investigation check.
Oh, I'm great at these. Intelligence, everything.
Yeah!
Could be worse.
What?
16.
Do you want?
Investigation?
Investigation, 26.
Oh, wow. Okay. You see very, very clearly, like, it's kind of under some rubble, so you're kind of digging around, checking it out. You see very quickly as you dug some of the things away, there is enough of a sword that you can piece it together and see a really, really beautiful weapon that's been carved. And you're seeing this along with him, like he puts it together first, and you're able to see, like, the hilt is really elegant.
I'll even use the mending cantrip to try and put them together.
You're able to mend it fairly well, and while it would be brittle at the places where it's been mended, it creates a solid form replica, essentially, of the sword that you would be looking for. Has a really, really beautiful hand guard over it. And roll me history. Not so much. Oh, nope.
17.
Oh,
I have
Thank you.
proficiency.
you've seen this sword before. You can't.
In the picture of the various pieces all together, though.
Yeah, but you've seen this sword before. You can imagine this a little too clearly. Like, you think you've seen this sword before.
I imagine sort of stroking my Minotaur beard, and it just sticks straight out because I have slime all over.
I love it. Minotaur spike beard. You can't quite place where, but you're relatively confident since you've been here that you've seen this, like, actually in person. The other pieces that you can put together don't tell you much. A little bit of the attire, but not much of the face is left. There are bits and pieces of the eyes, but it's a sculpture of eyes. There's no color. There's no really great way of identifying what that was. But yes, you now have that little bit of information.
I've seen this.
The sword?
there is a seal, like the seal that you guys are familiar with, at the bottom of each one on the pedestal where they stand. Forgot to say that, sorry.
You seen it before?
Yeah, and I can't place where. But since we've come here, I have seen this
Well, I can't think of anyone we've seen with this. I haven't seen anyone with a sword, or I can't recall anyone with a sword. I don't think it was any of the the Amazon women back at the Y.
somewhere. No, I don't think so.
The Shield Guardian wasn't using one.
No, he punched me.
Right.
I remember that distinctly.
Did Melbane ever use a sword? Okay.
No. Straight up spellcaster.
Yeah, the only one I could think of, because Pan had a blade, yes?
He did.
It's not this blade.
No.
I can't recall. Well, something to think on anyway.
Okay.
I actually have a favor to ask, Henry. Well, we have a while while we're waiting for Catatonic over there.
Sure.
I mentioned that there are a number of souls of children trapped within the blade that I carry.
Yes, I remember you saying something like that. Yes.
I was given a very rudimentary education. However, I feel like they deserve at least something, some sort of a basic education, and I was wondering if you would be willing to help me teach them. You are one of the smartest people that I have ever met, and I mean that in as complimentary a way as I can, because I didn't like most of the smart people I met, but I've told them that I would ask you if you would be willing to help tutor them.
I know you have a soft spot for children.
Indeed.
I get that, but they don't have a physical form anymore.
That is true. I intend to rectify that at some point. If we can finish what we are here to do, the man who brought us here has immense power. I would ask him to help me to find a way to restore them to their bodies. That is my intention. That being said, I understand if you're not comfortable with the idea, but they do seem to be able to learn. They soak up information as only children do. If you're not willing, I understand. I intend to do my best, though I struggled with studies myself. I told them I would ask. Think on it.
Can I insight you on something?
Sure.
14.
Okay.
Did you even go to school?
I did, actually. So, Claudius has a fairly well-to-do as far as like his speech, but he also, as far as you've seen in his past, he also is lacking in a lot of like basic mathematics and things of that nature.
Okay.
He just didn't pick it up real well.
Alright. Well, I think that would be more of something that would be better to do after all of this is over.
Right, I just figured that since we're going to have travel time and things, it would help to occupy them, it keeps me awake and aware at night.
Which you shouldn't.
Yeah, I can't face him again.
I have something for that. You remember that spell I bought from Chillworm?
Indeed. I'm not familiar with magic, but...
Neither am I in most cases. It's a weird case or something, but somewhere in here knows that with that spell he won't be able to get in our dreams as long as I cast this spell and when within a certain radius. Or a person.
If that's the case, I'm willing to try it. Yeah, if you're willing. If you're not, totally understandable. I just figured when we have some downtime as we travel or as we camp, if you would be willing to help to teach them whatever it is you would like. They have varied interests. Some of them want to learn to read. Some of them are rather young. Some of them less so. They're children, but old. They've been trapped as children. Now that being said, if you're not willing, I do understand as well.
Well, I guess let me think on it for a little while.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, we should probably see what this room and this place entails.
Yeah, should we check out the lectern?
Sure.
The lectern itself doesn't really have anything of note on it. It is a plain lectern. There is like a notebook kind of tucked underneath it where you might, like, you can see like scribblings for sermons, things like that, regarding the four corners and the domes. Kingdom, queendom.
Oh, the fiefdoms.
Yes, fiefdoms, thank you. That was the word I was looking for. I was like, there's a better word for this. There is, there's a good amount written in that from someone. But from the lectern, you can pretty clearly see above the door. And there is kind of it's sort of small for where it is located. You'll probably actually have to be closer to it to read it. But above the door, there's a little plaque that clearly has some writing on it. And so the big door that leads out into the courtyard. So if you go and investigate that, which I'm assuming would be the next step, it says, while the slightest, I can't read my own handwriting. While the straightest path allows you to center, the compass counts time like a clock in its turns, and nothing is as it seems. A winding path will lead straight through uncharted waters.
All right.
I'm going to quickly fortune's favor myself.
Remind me what that does? I always have to ask that, sorry.
Just within the next hour, if I want to, I just get like another luck point.
Okay, cool.
I just get a luck point for the next hour. Should I feel the need?
I think that's probably a good idea.
Here, I'll do it to you as well.
Oh. Well, thank you.
So we each get one fortune's favor.
And then I'm gonna go find Emmy.
I'll figure this out, or do some notes on this.
Where are you, Emmy? Oh, you weren't here, so you were down there.
She
Okay.
she was with Tweedles and the
Oh, that's right. We put you out there with the Tweedles.
You were babysitting.
You were babysitting. So
one pearl one.
What are you making?
Doesn't matter at this point.
By the time you're done, you're just gonna have a mile-length scarf.
yes. So our tabaxi is out there babysitting two Tweedles. The Tweedles you see as you're walking out towards her. They are practicing their bowling. It's just like up the path, and they'll congratulate each other and get really excited when they seem to break a distance record. And then, yeah, that's excellent, Dom. That's excellent work. I'll try and throw you a little harder next time. And Emmy is just pleasantly watching, doing her little thing.
Dee and Dum, could I ask a quick favor? Could you dig 2 graves?
2 graves, that's right. Wait. Who we digging graves for?
Dead
What were their names?
People?
For a number of people who have died. 2 of them.
They aren't our people, are they?
No, bad people.
Good.
No, bad. Bad,
Oh,
bad people.
bad people. Bad people,
Good
so
that
good
they're not
graves.
Perfect.
Got it. You got it? Alright. And he and go about, like, they've got graves dug in no time. Their big, massive claw hands just do real fast work of that. How big you need these, boss?
Big enough.
Alright. So they go about digging Tweedle-sized graves, because they have no idea what to expect.
So
Expect
now
what
that
you're
I've distracted them, Emmy, a question for you. I think I made you all aware that there are a number of young spirits trapped within my blade.
She's not looking at you, by the way.
Yeah. Some of them have fairly varied interests, and some of them have expressed an interest in learning. I wanted to ask if you might be willing to teach them some of your skills. It's not a traditional teaching experience by any means, since they're not here. Is that something you might be willing to consider?
Roll a perception check real quick.
I think it's +5, so that'd be a 19.
There's little tufts of her knitting yarn poking out of her ears.
No wonder you're handling the Tweedle so well.
I'll come back.
Sorry, I was looking for the compass symbols. But
Oh yeah, they're up here.
For
North,
heaven's
north,
sakes.
south, north, west, east, east, west. Yep, they're just at the top of the.
was that for this?
Yeah, that was the stuff that was on the back
was
of
on
the front
back
of the wall.
Yeah, the back of the front of the wall. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna just go ahead and go about dragging out the bodies into their shallow, not so
shallow
graves.
graves. They're a good 12 feet deep. They're not going anywhere soon.
Thank you, D and Dum. I appreciate it.
At your service.
You don't need to be at my service. Although I do appreciate your help. You are Tweedles. You are beholden to no one.
That's right. But we are
Adventuring Tweedles.
adventuring Tweedles, and we are at your proximity.
Indeed. Could you also fill these in? You all are just so wonderful at digging.
We can do that.
Thank you.
And they go about the task of
You didn't put the
filling
bodies
it back
in
in.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Okay.
We
Are
don't
they-
say.
Are they lighter than they feel like they should be? Like physically lighter?
Yes,
Ugh. Cool.
they are indeed. Yeah, so they make even quicker work of filling that up than they did digging it, but like they're. You can tell this is what they do.
They dig holes.
They are diggers. They are diggy holes.
They're dwarves now too.
They're more efficient than dwarves, man. They are good at their job.
Perfect. So I'll just go ahead and tap Emmy on the shoulder.
Oh. Did you need something, do you?
I can take a watch if you want to go help. I think Henry might need someone a little smarter than myself.
All right. And taps your stuff away and off into the inside.
And I will just have Tweedleduty.
Claudius takes Tweedledee.
You can always have Xerxes do it.
It's true. But I figure he's trying to get out of the way for a little bit and think.
So, while all of this is happening, Elaine, you are probably at this point Melbane has caught up to you inside the little place up by the lectern. Roll me? Well, yeah, roll me perception.
9.
Never mind. There's a really pretty guy next to you again. I mean, it seems like he's trying to figure out his hand movement a little bit more while he's doing this. He's kind of like raising and lowering. Just like, a few misfires. We'll try this again later.
I'm sure it'll take some time.
Are you injured at all, my dear?
Oh, no, I'm fine.
Excellent.
He wasn't in here for all of that, was he?
No, he was outside with Claudius. Not Claudius. Well, I mean,
Eventually.
Claudius, but
Janus.
Janus. Yeah, there we go.
They were sloths.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. I'm seeing more and more of the underbeings coming upward.
It seems to be the cause for this meeting is sort of the coming up of the under creatures.
I gather, although I'm not certain, that they have been recruiting from the actual townspeople as well. It might be wise, while I think that you could overpower everyone involved, perhaps for us to not be present in a few hours come nightfall.
I kind of thought the same thing.
Numbers might matter. I'm not exactly sure who it is that was the target audience. To know what dangers may be raised, and I would not like to put any of you in any kind of this is just like yeah, he's super awkward. Perhaps even a little more so than usual. Some mic sounds? Holy moly, what? Some raspy crispy. Oh! What did I hit? We bumped wires. How's that? Is that better?
Well, it'll take it a second.
Yeah, it might take it a second for it to...
Sorry, everybody. I think that was my fault.
Aha!
It was my fault.
We understand more about how these microphones work now.
Yes. Time to replace a mic cable.
It's all good, no worries. So he does seem to be eagerly kind of goading you either towards one of the doors. It doesn't even seem like he cares which one.
Okay, I'll go out the door.
Okay. So at this point, seeing as he knows what's through the back door, that's kind of the one that he is leaning towards.
Okay.
Roll me one more perception check just to see.
23.
He is really uncomfortable standing in this room right now, and it's not just because of the heavy flirts and not knowing how.
Are you alright?
Yes. There are just some things that I'm... Yes, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. With that perception check, you also put 2 and 2 together that the person standing on the other side of the goddess that is featured very heavily in the stained glass window is definitely him.
Oh.
It's kind of a bit of a cubist portrayal of him, but it's definitely him. His eyes lock with the direction that yours just glanced. About that.
Uh-huh.
So, I am a servant to the goddess. However, that might be understating my role. No. Not like... like he is bright red. Not...
The lover of the goddess.
Not as a personal attachment per se. You have to. How do I understand this? How do I explain this? Everything here exists because of her. All of them, he gestures towards the window, towards her. Her kind have, by their very nature, defined their opposite.
Alright.
I am her opposite. I exist because she does. And thus I am constantly at her service. She is much more...
Wait.
Almost as a
Wait.
child that I must care for.
Remember that I don't.
You have met her older brother, I understand.
Yes, the Dream King. We met him.
Dream defines reality.
Alright.
Chaos defines structure. What is not chaos is, by nature, structure.
So you're structure? Are you a god? Oh my gosh!
I don't like to think of myself as one.
You snuggle cuddle God.
It's an awkward thing. He looks so uncomfortable. I am not on the same level as what she is by any stretch of the imagination.
I'm close.
But I am her opposing balance, which is probably why it was so important that I be kept away from her.
So people worship you here.
And we're back.
Yes?
You are a god.
Not to you.
God is a god!
No matter how small.
Gods exist because people dream them into being.
That was good.
They are as real as you make them, but I had no godly status to you before about 3 seconds ago.
So when you find out, like, he's, like, independently wealthy, and, like, he's got, like, $1 million trust fund,
Your new boyfriend has a Maserati.
That he didn't tell you about.
So by the way,
This is
I
just
happen
the-
to be
this is
friends.
A
just
yacht
the-
Maldives.
This is
Oh
just
gosh,
the-
this is one
this
of
is
the,
just
like,
the winter
Hallmark
part.
Oh no! It will not be that Lifetime movie.
Condo in Arizona.
A yacht in the Maldives.
That would be
A
nice.
home in the south of France.
That would be a good place.
Your own vineyard. Your own wine label.
You have seen the awkwardness that is this now. I cannot, in any kind of conscience, say that I am a god.
Do you have
You
parents
cut off
where
a
you
god's
just
arm.
brought into existence to be a god?
Not to be a god, to be a counterweight.
A god? You keep trying to label yourself as something else. Sorry, this is a lot.
I was afraid of that. I am a god to people who need that in their lives.
Structure.
I am nothing more than an idea.
Ideas are very powerful.
I cannot argue with that, especially depending on whose mind you happen to be occupying at the time.
One's own.
Alright.
Sorry.
That's... We put you in a jar!
I put him in a jar.
I was delighted to be there.
Nobody puts a god in a jar.
I did.
That fan right there would argue that point. You'll notice I did not put up much of a fight. It was far preferable to the alternative.
No, I understand why you did it.
I mean, technically I didn't do it, but my gratitude to those who do, and he kind of like shoots his eyes over to Henry from over his shoulder.
I'm making lots of notes, trying to figure this puzzle out. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yep. I would respect your opinion if you didn't care to be as near to me as you might have considered otherwise, but I am quite fond of you. And I'm very sorry if this knowledge has... Yeah, I did just become Canadian, sorry. I terribly regret if this knowledge has become a burden so quickly to you.
It's just a lot to take in. I'm sure I'll adjust. We should probably go. Do things that we came to do.
We will pause with that awkwardness. So Emmy is caught up with you now. You are also kind of in there reading the sign.
Would you give it to us again?
Yes, I will.
Yes, please.
Just so Keith can know what it said.
Yes. While, yeah, of course. While the straightest path allows you to center, the compass counts time like a clock in its turns, and nothing is as it seems. A winding path will lead straight through the uncharted waters.
Well, that's as clear as mud.
Mm. Oh, by the way, there's a sword we put back together over on in the corner. Claudia says he recognizes it. You want to take a crack at your mind and see if you can remember where it's from?
Sure. I'll take a look at it and see if it strikes me as familiar at all.
History?
That's not terrible. Let's see. First roll of the night. Nope, it's a 12.
Nope. Like you can kind of tell it's vaguely familiar, but you're not so sure that you've seen it before, or if you're just making up that you've seen it because
Somebody said you did.
somebody said you should know it.
It just looks like a sword as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Pointy end goes in the other guy.
Apparently, yes.
Did he give you context for where he recognized it from?
No, he just said it looked familiar, like he'd seen it before, but I couldn't remember. I went back and remembered everyone we've ever met with a sword, and I can't remember.
Well, quite honestly, one sword looks alike to me.
I guess.
Looks very much like another.
Well, I think it's one of the keys.
Is it? Well, then perhaps we should take it with us.
The stone? It's a statue.
Oh.
It's made of rocks.
Oh.
Sorry.
Okay.
Milked that 12, man.
Well, all right.
I'd like to investigate the room and see if there's like anything that would indicate a starting point.
Well, it was hanging above the door, the big arched door
So
that goes into
I'll
the
go over to
courtyard.
the door.
Do you want that list again?
I wrote it down.
Okay.
Everything else is relatively plain. It very much resembles if you are familiar with Quaker meeting halls. Like they're pretty plain. Everything's kind of centered around the pulpit, and the statues and the stained glass are really the only decorative elements. And the stained glass is very much kind of about the gods.
Right.
Which, if anybody else wants to make that perception check and see if you put 2 and 2 together as far as the stained glass window, you're welcome to. But not sure if you.
I'd rather live in ignorant bliss.
There you go. Let me.
All right.
Okay, I
Well,
gotta.
in order now that I know that they're supposed to be in order, which makes sense.
Okay,
Did you shuffle them?
Sort of.
so I'm changing maps.
Oh,
Maps.
Okay.
you take it to
How do
player. Move the player tab to the correct map.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Gotcha. I forgot about that part. Where's my player tab? Sorry, guys. One moment. Ta-da! Okay. You're not all there, though. Janice is a statue outside. I'm just going to pull everybody who's not supposed to be there kind of off to the side.
So wait, what is this a map of?
This is a map of the courtyard. So,
Thank you, Puzzer.
Thank you, Puzzer! I'm just gonna layer all of these guys over here. Henry is there, Emmeline is there, Elaine is on the other side of the other room. So right now it's just Henry and Emmeline.
Okay.
And, like, this would be the first step out.
Okay.
The thing on the ground, is that actually there?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay.
So it's very delicately painted, really, really beautiful. The stonework in the center all seems as though, like, it is, like, the compass is also stonework.
Okay.
But each
So
tile seems.
am I there too as well?
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
You are like right behind him though.
All
So.
right. Gotcha.
Because he was the person who mentioned the door first. So all of the plantings, there are big carnivorous plants, but there are also quite a few like really beautiful ferns and giant roses.
So is there anything about the blocks themselves that sticks out, or are they just paving stones?
Investigation.
I want to see some Dance Revolution on these stones.
That's my plan.
Dance.
11, so probably not.
There is some space between them, like the gapping between them doesn't seem mortared.
Because it opens.
So, we could try the combination of words we found on the back of the chapel. The north, north, south, north, west, east, east, west. So, is the compass actually pointing the correct directions?
I just realized something, Keith.
What's that?
This is upside down. So actually, you
Oh.
guys are going to be on this side. It's like, oh wait, these directions are not correct.
Good call.
Good thinking.
Okay, so ask that question one more time.
So, do they actually point north, south, east, and west?
You're not totally sure where north, south, east, and west are, but
That's a good point.
yes, like they are definitely marked as directions. Yes.
I'll stand at the center of the compass.
Okay, so you walk to the center of the compass.
Yes.
Okay.
Alright, I'm
All
gonna try
safe
this
there.
combination we found
I
on
have
the
to turn this upside
back
down
of
now.
the. Try this combination that we found on the back of the thing, the back of the church.
So
All right, I'll just wait here in case anything
bad
terrible happens.
always happens.
Alright, I will go north 2.
You step forward 1.
Yep.
Nothing seems to happen.
I will go
You
north
step
another.
forward the second time, and roll me a dex save.
And remember, you still have your fortune's favor as well.
That was a 2. Correct.
Fortune's favor, right? You have that going, right, didn't you?
18.
Okay, yeah. You make it so several darts come out
Of course it's fake.
from the woodwork and come towards you, but you manage to get out of the way of one, and the other one just barely grazes you.
And you drop because they were poisoned.
No, it doesn't actually even do any damage. Like these are small potatoes.
Bing!
Yeah, pretty much just kind of pings off of you.
Alright, well. Oh. I got it now. Yeah, I know what it is now. I forgot about the clock sentence. Okay, I'll go back to the center.
Back to the center.
Alright, I will go north 1,
Mm-hmm.
and if I remember correctly of how the riddle goes, I will go east.
So this way? No, that would be your west. Other direction.
I will go towards, what would east...
Flower side? Or wait, no. 'Cause
What is it?
if you remember,
The arrows?
this is
Yeah.
this is north, so east would be over here.
Yeah. Towards, I'm not sure what that symbol is.
There's a birdfish and there's a water symbol.
Oh, the waterfall.
Nothing happens.
I got it, okay. Alright, so that was now north, that's now north. And then I will go, down 1.
And wait, down. Which down?
On our screen down.
Yeah.
So northward.
Okay. So actually, yeah, nothing happens.
And then I will, go westward. From using the compass, I will go westward.
That way.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
All right. I will go westward again.
Mm-hmm.
Then I will go southward. Westward. Northward or southward.
As you hit the last stone, you hear this "Kong, kong, kong," and the middle of the compass rose descends into the ground, allowing a large tunnel, and you see a staircase as that drops down into the earth. There is a stairway that leads downward.
I found it. I found something.
Not sure what it is.
Not sure what it
Found
is,
it.
but I found it.
It goes across the ocean.
Oh, that's a stretch. The imagination. I like it though.
So I assume you say that very loudly.
Yeah.
So you guys are close enough. If he called it loudly, like you're
I mean,
outside, so
he's
you're,
there.
well, you're
Yeah.
right there. So you saw the whole thing, and you guys hear from the courtyard area that you hadn't gotten into yet. This I found it.
I'll head that direction.
Indeed, indeed. So, do you come as well? Okay.
I'm teaching Tweedles how to arm wrestle.
We'll get back to that in a moment.
So
I
I'm-
will enjoy seeing how that goes.
So I'm just gonna walk over to the edge and peer down. How far down does it look like it goes?
It goes down pretty far. Like the light kind of gives way to darkness, and you can't quite see how far. But it seems like a pretty decently cared for.
So
Little
deeper
area.
than 60 feet then, because
Probably right at the edge.
dark vision. So I've got
Yeah.
dark vision 60.
Yeah, so you can see, and it gets kind of right at the edge of that 60-foot barrier.
Okay.
So you can kind of see it open up right there at the bottom into something.
6-ish, 5-ish.
Deep stairwell.
So what do we think is down here, dear?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Huh.
Way past oceans uncharted.
Apparently. Well, is that what the thing said?
Can we get a refresher on that riddle?
A winding path will lead straight through uncharted waters. Is what that last little bit was. So, who's in? You going first? Pushing somebody else downstairs first?
No. No, that's not gonna happen. I'm going to,
Emmy takes a step off and drops.
okay.
Very well.
And as a reaction at the bottom, I am negating 55 points of fall damage.
Which
But
is
there
all
were
of it.
stairs, right?
Yes, there were.
How far down is it?
About
So that's
60 feet?
About 60 feet down. How
What
does fall
your
damage work? I wasn't prepared for that part.
You won't have to worry about it.
You won't have to worry about it.
Okay.
He's well within.
It's 1d10. Is it
1d6
1d6
every
for
10
every
feet.
for every 10 feet. So the most
yeah.
I would have taken would have been 30.
Okay, you're fine. Yeah.
What do you see?
What do I see?
You see this big cavernous opening that has.
It's the Star Wars space worm.
There is a large metal grate in front of you, and you can hear running water under it.
Okay.
There is also. It looks like someone's study was down here. So there are like books on shelves on one of the back walls, and there's a writing desk. And there is a lever on one side of the wall
Oh no, you.
that's
Curiosity killed the cat.
there's a lever on one side of the wall that has a little plaque above it.
Okay. books, a grate, and a lever.
All right.
Sounds like the start to a really bad joke.
Has Elaine arrived at the scene yet?
Yeah, you guys were just across the building, so by this point you probably are
you
at least out in the
wanna-
So
courtyard.
what are we seeing?
You guys just see a big staircase in the middle of the courtyard right now that leads into a pit.
Well, I'm gonna go back up Emmeline if you want to go grab Claudius and see if Janice is catatonic yet. And me and Emmy will investigate this cavern.
Perfect.
So
Careful.
I'm gonna go over and
Oh, I
read
was
the
in.
plaque.
I'll start climbing down.
Our stairs.
Oh, that's right. I'll start walking down.
Just backing down the
I
stairs.
don't know. I thoroughly
I thought you said
enjoy-
ladder.
I thoroughly enjoyed the idea of like there's this staircase and everybody is taking great
Like,
extreme measures to not touch the stairs. Just, it's like there are people
I
rappelling.
cast fly. Stairs are clearly a trap.
Yes, it's a trap.
Okay. I'll go back up Emmeline.
I'll go get Claudius.
Who is still aboard? He's still.
Claudius.
Janice is.
Janice.
Oh,
Oh.
sorry, wrong person.
Were you
Claudius
going
is teaching Tweedles how to arm wrestle, and
I
it's
probably
hilarious.
didn't hear the call because.
Yeah, you were busy being Tweedly.
What are you doing?
Are you talking to me or
Yes,
to
I'm
Janice?
talking to you.
I am officiating. They are arm wrestling.
Go! Wait! they start like, and you can just see like these literal boulders of muscles just like bulging, and like D stands up and pushes Dum's hand.
Ching.
Whoa! Wait!
You remember?
Oh,
You have to
oh,
keep your
oh.
elbow down.
Dang it! All right, okay.
Alright.
Okay.
3,
Huh?
2,
Huh?
1.
You have the power to stop this.
I'm just in awe.
Who's evens? Who's odds?
D is odds.
Dumb gives him this little glimmer of this look in his eye, and you can kind of see this stalemate happening in the middle, and all of a sudden Dumb and just wrinkles up his whole face and keeps pushing down, and Dumb he kind of does a little "We Are the Champions" dance right at the end. Oh, he got me good, he did.
Claudius.
1 moment. As I'm digging through, like my hand is elbow deep in the bag of holding.
What are you doing?
Claudius.
1 moment.
What you looking for?
So I'm going to pull out a little piece of work that woodwork that I'd done, and it's just going to be a small little boat that I'd worked on while we were still in the Red Queen's castle, and I'm going to pull it out and hand it to Dumb as the winner.
Oh, I see. Oh.
Heaven's sakes.
He like pats its little mast. And this is probably not gonna work, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Roll me just a general intelligence check.
Oh, I don't have much in the way of intelligence. Could have been worse. 12.
You almost think you're starting to understand him a little bit. like, you get this general gist of, I've never before. Thank you.
Sorry, Elaine, what was that?
Henry found a pit. There's a staircase. Is Janice still catatonic?
Last I saw, yep.
You walked past him, yeah.
Alright.
He was by the back door.
We set him in a chair.
D and
One of
Dumb,
the pews.
Yep.
We laid him down.
Hi.
would you just sort of generally keep an eye out for Janice while we go investigate something?
And D kind of puffs up his chest. We will guard Janice.
Guarding adventuring Tweedles.
We are guarding adventuring Tweedles. Wait. Hold on.
It's not a noun. Don't worry about it.
It is not a noun!
Tweedles even know what nouns are.
Confused.
It's fine, thank you.
Yeah.
We'll be back shortly.
Dum seems to understand what's going on well enough. He just grabbed Dee's hand and walks towards where Janice is.
There's apparently a staircase and a pit, and there was a puzzle, I suppose. I wasn't there.
Me neither. This was really fun, though.
All right. To the pit.
To the pit!
So the plaque.
So the plaque reads, "Where crystal streams hide away from war, safe passage lay in wait. The glass-hang cliffs of obsidian shore now keeps your journey straight." To get to the plaque to read it, you had to cross over the grate. Below it, you see, tethered down to something that looks like a big, like, winding chain, a sizable boat that is in really beautiful condition, just hanging out in the water below you.
That's mighty convenient.
Don't you have proficiency with sailing?
I don't remember. I think it might be land vehicles.
Oh. None of us know how to sail.
Okay, and the plaque is right over the
lever.
Click,
the lever.
click, click, click. I'm down. Oh wow.
See what you think of this little riddle here, and I'm gonna go start poking through the books.
Well, I assume it means that the boat we can use.
I was afraid you were going to say that.
Why?
I love that dawning moment. That was adorable. Oh.
I will help her go through the books.
So a lot of it is kind of sermon notes. There are some things that are like journals where it's kind of this fellow's history you gather. This place looks on the outside, like the inside looks pretty well kept up, but the outside looks like it hasn't had really regular use in quite some time. So these are generally older manuscripts. But you're guessing probably the last time some of this stuff had been written in has been as early as like in the last 10 years. So not long ago, this was probably a fairly frequently used study. The journals documented some of what was happening, like in Cannibal Cove in general, some of the political situations and how the churches played into that. There is a book that has this fellow's mappings in it, and there is, I don't have it loaded in here yet, but there is a map that strikes you as similar to the map that you had of this continent. But it's on a grid, and the only things that are marked off are the places where palaces are. But the odd thing to you is that it looks like it was part of something that he had designed to fold out of this journal, and parts of it are torn off. So the only part that's visible is the continent that you already know, but you also see in the tear that there are other places that do not touch this land that have been torn out.
So there's more to the continent. There's more than just this continent.
Yes.
Ah.
There are like if you just flip through the books, there are frequent mentions made of four corners. So you kind of gather that this continent would be four corners.
Interesting. Yeah.
But yeah, so you've got that. Nothing really in the way of spells, but there is a decent amount for like history buffs, things like that. There's a decent amount of interest to some of those things.
I guess while we're waiting for the rest of the group to arrive, is there anything describing of who the fourth is?
Interestingly, you see, like, one of the journals as you're flipping through seems to have, like, he seems to be very, very much a historian. He likes to document everything for people later to find. But most of the things from that portion look like they have been torn out of the book that documents things about the the leaders. There was another word that my brain wanted to use, but
Rulers,
yeah.
monarchs.
Kings and queens, monarchs. There we go.
I should have seen if I had got that other spell. Maybe that would have helped, but.
But there is something in. It looks like this guy was a little bit interesting in general. And there is something that looks kind of like a book of quackpot prophecies.
Okay.
Oh dear.
And flipping through there, one of the prophecies. Let's roll a chance actually. Roll me a percentile. We'll see if you find this or not.
24.
Okay. Yeah, on first glance, it kind of just seems like a bunch of odd prophecies, which I guess you wouldn't really necessarily know if they're quackpot or not because you've not been here long. So maybe some of them were dead on. You're not sure, but yeah. So yeah, you're able to. You do now know a lot more about, just from a little skimming and speed reading, some of the history of like why Cannibal Cove changed many of its rituals, different things like that.
Fun.
And about this time, the others come down the stairs, and you see what has already been lined out.
Well, Elaine said you needed help.
Well,
I didn't say you needed help. I said you should be here.
Oh, I'm here.
Well, if you look down this grate, it appears we might have a mode of transportation.
Great. Does anybody know how to sail? Melbane?
I probably could, yes.
We have a captain. Aye, aye.
Oh dear.
I'll go get Janice.
What about Tweedledee Tweedledum?
Well?
They would actually fit. It's a sizable boat. Like you're looking down, there is probably another 60 feet under you.
Okay. Well, we're about to go make some sailing tweedles.
Great.
No. This is gonna be great.
So, I have a moral question.
Oh.
Would anyone care, do you think, is it morally wrong to take one of these books?
What?
No. Well, for what purpose?
To teach someone how to read.
Who doesn't know how to read?
Kids.
What?
Claudius, you do know they don't, as far as I could tell, they can't leave and or see from the sword.
They can.
What are we talking about?
Oh.
Yes, what are we talking about?
Oh,
Actually,
you had,
I've
you
never-
had ear things in.
May I see it?
Of course. So I'll go ahead and draw it out and say, I'm gonna hand you over.
Can I cast Identify? I don't never cast Identify on this thing.
Didn't you?
I think you did. Yeah,
I'm
you were the
pretty
one
sure
who
you
did.
decided
Oh, that's
that they
right.
were spirits.
I can't identify it because that's the cursed part.
You could tell that there were spirits in it, though.
Right.
Yeah.
So backtracking.
You had ear things. You were doing a really good job of ignoring the Tweedles.
I was watching them.
No.
I just didn't need to hear them.
That is completely fair.
Yes.
It was supposed to be a compliment.
Really good idea, Amy.
We might
I
want
have
to
some
invest.
extra in case you guys.
I can just turn it off.
Just imagine she makes earmuffs for everyone.
I actually pull out a couple pairs. I need to make some more.
Where are you getting
but
the yarn?
I brought it with me.
Hairballs.
the infinite yard.
Yep.
You don't want to know where it came from.
I actually was going to talk to you about this a little bit earlier. There are a number of children's spirits encased, entombed, stuck within the sword, placed there by the man who inhabits our dreams. I am doing my best and going to endeavor to give them what education I can. To that end, I was going to ask, though you were unable to hear me, if you would mind teaching them some of your skills. It's not going to be an orthodox education, but
Well, why don't you go
Certain
grab
of my
Janice and the Tweedles and we'll discuss it.
Certain of my skills would not seem to be applicable to your charges.
yes. However, I think they might be interested in seeing the amazing work you do with your hands. I don't know what they can or cannot do within the space that they exist, but they are very interested in seeing what you can do, and if you would be willing to teach them, they soak information like sponges. Again, think on it. I'll go grab Janice and the Will the Tweedles fit down the stairs?
Probably not.
I will see what I can do about the Tweedles.
So while you're gone.
Yeah, I'll step back up the stairs.
I know.
Do you still have the sword, or did you hand it
I
back?
handed it back to
Okay.
Claudius.
Am I the only one who thinks there's a chance he's gone mad?
We're all mad
I
here.
know, but like.
You'll have to be more clear.
I do
Which is
sense
hard 'cause
a
you're mad.
very strong presence in the sword.
And he did tell everybody that there were spirits.
Right,
inside of it.
I'm not doubting that there's spirits in them. This sounds unbelievably calloused, but they're dead children. And I don't know that.
I doubt they could.
What's. Again, this sounds awful. What's the point of educating them?
Claudia, I'm guessing Claudia's madness revolves somewhere around children, and so this is his punishment from that dream entity to torture him more.
I'm unsure of its purpose, I will say that. But it could also simply be a useful distraction to him, to keep his thoughts busy.
Right.
Me and Janice had talked about remove cursing it, but which is an ability he can do to remove that from his sword, but I don't know what process would happen doing that,
What would happen to the spirits of the children?
or what Claudius would do to me.
It's very fair.
Honestly, it is a fair point.
Yes.
Right. So we're just going to go along with this then?
Unless you guys have other alternatives.
I'm unsure of how things work for people not in my situation. However, I would say, since we have indeed confirmed that there are spirits in his sword, going along would not only give him a way to occupy his time, but being contained in an area you don't understand, having people engaging with you on such a level would probably be in some way a comfort.
Perhaps.
So while one could probably validly argue that it would be ultimately pointless, perhaps the temporary point of it
True.
is compassionate.
At any rate, we should keep a close watch on our friend. He's already made at least one very questionable decision. I really hope he doesn't make more.
Tactical alignment error.
Yes, I do believe that's what the young man said, wasn't it?
Should it come down to it, we can always kill him.
My God. That escalated very quickly.
Oh, we almost killed you.
That is fair, but...
Well, I almost killed you, but by the mercy of my party, I was stopped.
I will speak from experience in saying, however, that people's actions here do not necessarily always reflect who they are. So...
Yes, but I believe...
I sort of.
Yes.
He cuts his eyes over and
True.
just sort of blushes.
But when that madness is being manipulated by someone else...
You're all being manipulated by someone else. Or at least,
Yes, but
They are
none of us
attempting.
have given in to that temptation.
hopefully, it will remain such.
It will.
Spoken very confidently.
I have a spell.
Melbane just kind of had those once.
Alright then. So you can sail?
I have experience. I'm certainly not the most experienced person here, but okay, maybe here. But here.
Time stares you here. No. Try sideways.
Oh, that's amazing.
Henry,
Yes,
do you have some kind of spell that could get them downstairs?
please hold.
Oh, please.
Just hear the dial tone as I'm thinking.
Kenny G plays in the background.
The most awkward folk music.
I might also point out that this grate is very, very well made. I'm not so sure we're getting in the boat here.
Amy walks over and pulls the lever.
Please tell me he's standing on the grate.
Probably a lot of you are standing on the grate right now.
I'm not.
But what happens is not the grate moving. What happens is the chain being let out, and the boat drifts from under the
Out to sea.
grate.
There goes our ride.
It's not disconnected yet, so like it stops, and you just see this taut chain there.
Yep, we have to go to the obsidian cliffs.
Melbane reads the
So we don't need Tweedles down here.
I'm still trying to get them down, but
He is not aware of the plan. Melbane looks at the plaque. Like, it would seem that it is, that this cavern would lead to what I would guess would be the fastest route.
So do we enter here or somewhere else?
So is there a continuing passage?
Yeah.
Okay.
oh,
Yeah,
okay, I missed that too.
Yeah, it's like, I just thought there was the chamber.
Oh, I'm sorry, that you could be in.
Right.
Yes, it's just the chamber for you guys. The passage is for the boat. Like,
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay.
that's what sorry, I misunderstood.
But can we get to the boat from this chamber?
It does not look like it.
Well, we'll see about that here in a second.
Oh.
Okay. So we need to get to the boat, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to use the Spade of Sages to move
Interesting.
Earth.
And remind me, I've got it somewhere in here, but oh, it's right there. Actually.
Because I don't know what he's doing, I'm going to go back over to the bookshelf.
Okay.
I'm going to channel my inner cat, and all the books come off the bookshelf. And I'm going to start tapping on the back, listening for a hollow spot.
Of the bookshelf.
Is down here just all stone?
candle.
Or,
Yeah.
Oh, never mind then. It can't manipulate natural stone.
Yeah, this is all stone.
Never mind.
So, woof.
Roll me an investigation.
$10.
Yeah. You don't think you hear any big deviants?
Those deviants.
Those deviant bricks, those terrible stones. Yeah, you don't think that you
They're
really
rolling.
hear anything that's off.
So I guess we just head towards the coast and hope we find the
We
boat.
Go in a straight line.
The obsidian cliffs are very clear. There's only one place of this shore that is cliff face. I suspect that this passage empties there.
Would it be best
So
to
do we let the boat out further?
or we could take a long rest and then hit the button or lever and then head towards there. Or we can just hit it and then head towards there and get there by
Nightfall.
nightfall.
That's actually.
Okay, suck. Breathe in.
Claudius,
I love
Claudius.
this so much.
we don't need them downstairs anymore.
But I don't know if I can get him back up now.
So I head up the stairs.
Good luck.
The stairs are currently.
Are they like
occupied.
actually stuck?
One of them is.
How long have they been stuck there like that?
Just a moment. We've just been trying to get down the stairs.
I will take out the rapier of roses
Oh, okay.
and I will reverse time to when he was not stuck.
Nice.
Ooh.
Well done, sir.
Good. Well played.
Everything kind of rewinds around you, and you have an unstuck Tweedle.
So how does that work for us? Like, do we go back to where we were?
Yes.
Okay, so if you turn sideways.
We don't-
But do I remember?
You remember.
Claudius, I don't think we need to have them down here. It
Okay.
seems like we just hit a lever and the boat will head to a designated area on the shore.
I guess that's probably.
So I guess now we head towards the Obsidian Coast.
And then stops.
So if we want to do that.
Sure.
I assume that would mean that you would want to keep that going then.
Yes. Well, we might as well do it as soon as we're leaving, so
Are we
Oh,
leaving
do it now.
Are we waiting? Are we?
No. So let's head
Okay,
towards
yes.
the Obsidian Coast. Grab Circes and Janice and we'll head in that direction. Let's go.
Dumb. Our companion seems to be
Plank.
unable to walk. Would you mind carrying him?
He just kind of light as a feather.
Alright, and I assume we're just moving?
Heading to the Obsidian Cliffs.
Oh my gosh. It's like Claudius. Janice now has a Tweedle steed.
We can bring him up a backpack to ride in.
Just see these strings that are attached to like ropes attached.
Well, we
to
haven't
his
made it.
wrists
We
and
haven't made it
feet.
yet.
You can say it's a rite of passage for the guild.
We could have it be like knitted, just a knitted backpack for him to ride in.
I'll sign it, my dear.
I will buy you all the string you need.
Anytime this has to happen, you'll be ready.
Alright, so we head towards the Obsidian Cliffs. I will
Alright.
quickly write a note saying that the meeting is cancelled.
Oh,
And just like pin it on the door.
That's awesome.
Due to unforeseen circumstances.
Due to
No,
unforeseen
what
circumstance.
I want to put is
I'll
the meeting was a sham.
Shh.
They were planning on having you sell your soul to the abyss. Save yourselves and avoid the brimstone.
They were gonna sell their souls to the
I
abyss.
mean, not
Signed by who?
Big dog.
Tut, 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 tut.
What did I do?
Yes, go
Okay.
Liz.
I picked a book at random and took it. Excuse me. I am not teaching children to read.
You said you picked a book at
Yes,
random.
but do you know how to read?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was raised in a noble household, but I'm just not that bright.
Was there anything at all of interest that made you kind of go for it, or just truly at random?
Yeah, just at random.
Oh, excuse me. Okay. Yes, we will.
The infinite possibilities of ducks.
What did I just do? No, that's the.
I'm sure they would appreciate
Go
that.
back. Go back.
Here's the wingspan of a duck. Here's its bill.
There we go. Okay.
And the sharp teeth inside.
So you're gonna have to make that bigger on your screen.
The totem of the duck.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
There we go.
More anatomy of a duck.
That's better.
Corkscrew.
All right.
Let's skip that page.
Just have flashbacks to the original Glassbreakers.
Yep.
All the innuendo. Okay, so you travel
Oh,
along.
right, Screech.
Yep.
So you are currently somewhere in this general vicinity, in the rune jungle. As you continue outward, there are many runes kind of sketched or etched onto tree trunks. And as you pass by, sometimes they glow, sometimes they don't.
That's sketchy.
Great.
It's a little sketchy. It's a little sketch. But let me.
I made a terrible pun and you didn't even know that.
I didn't catch it.
It's.
Sketchy. Or sketch.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
You have to have
Okay.
you have to have like eye contact when you say a terrible joke, or else they won't know it properly.
You occasionally hear large things moving in the forest, but you don't see anything. Nothing gets close enough to you that you feel super concerned about your safety. You can definitely tell that there are some big things there, though. Yes. I thought you were petting the displacer beast.
No.
Oh,
For just a second, I was like imagining you petting it and purring. Then I realized that was not the case. At a relatively abrupt stop, you go from jungle to really shiny black sand. Like there's a little bit of an edge there that softens into it, but not much. It's a real quick change.
I'm gonna take a pocket full.
You now have a pocket full of sand. I mean, one could always use a pocket full of sand. Okay.
Pocket sand is very important.
Pocket sand is very important. As I was thinking, so why would you? Never mind. I could think of at least 5 things. Okay. So crossing into this, you kind of end up skirting the edge to get to the closest area where the trip would be the shortest across the water. And you gather that Melbane is familiar enough with the coast to know when it was appropriate to kind of turn up so that you would end up being kind of where you wanted to be.
Do we see the boat?
You're not quite to the shore yet. Roll me a perception check.
Anyone
All
in
of us
particular?
Everybody.
Oh,
Everybody.
So my passive is 18.
5.
Oof. Oof.
Oh, actually, I can spend one of those.
15.
7.
Wow.
That one's- Should I reroll that one? It's pretty.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That's too bad. That was an 18. 19.
So, you high rollers, 15 would. Actually, let me. Yeah. Okay, so you two would see it. You two would not. And the Tweedles are being very loud, so they're.
Well, it's not like we were trying to stealth.
Yeah, you weren't exactly trying to be stealthy, and
Not that we
Like,
can with them.
you can kind of imagine that Janice is probably going to wake up with a really nice case of whiplash, because like there's occasionally skipping involved and like dancing around like idiots. It's a Tweedle kind of a thing, but with the ruckus behind you, you two see 2 giant green eyes in the sand.
Oh.
Just kind of start to peek open as slits. You're waving at the eyes?
We're gonna. You'll want to stop, dears. There's something looking at us.
You hear this, and this comes just out from under, like the eyes are here, and there's a snout down here that you
no.
can't quite see. Like
Is he back?
it blends in so well. Like the skin of whatever this is looks like the sand, and you just see this coming up into the air. And you get this little gust of wind as it does this.
I love that for like the last 10 seconds you've been trying to find the voice for this.
Well,
Salacia, sit, stay.
he's not usually there.
Where is he usually?
What?
Who is he?
He's usually with the queen.
Which one?
That's not good. Well, it'd be the Black Queen.
Oh.
Because, you know.
Esbar? Like the eyes just cut over. This big poof kind of comes out. Why aren't you speaking? Those of you who rolled high, like as kind of dust starts to settle in the wind a little bit, you see 2 giant shackles that are very similar in many ways to what.
Dryad?
Huh?
Nothing. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it would have been very similar to what the Dryad had and Melbane. Like, Melbanes were more a control kind of a thing. These have deep-rooted chains, though, so you kind of get the idea they're not there to control it per se.
What is it?
As you start to see what's happening in front of you, this figure shifts in the sand, and it's a really smooth, kind of slithery shift. There is a huge dragon that looks like it is made of sand. Like the scales look like beads of obsidian. So he blends in really, really well. But he's big. He's a big boy.
So, what are the chances of you doing the same thing with that you did to the Queen of the Forest?
I forgot what he did to the Queen of the Forest.
I switched
Misty
places
stepped
with
her,
it.
yeah.
Actually, please hold.
I'm not sure you're going to be able to, dear. If I remember dragon lore correctly.
Can he change his size? Well, shit.
So
I won't be able to do anything today.
I
Most of my big spells have been spent when we fought Slods. If we take a short rest, I might be able to do something. Are these magic shackles?
Very much so.
So
Very
many.
strong magic.
Well,
Are there locks on the middle?
It's very reminiscent of what Melbane had on.
dang it. Well, I can't teleport him out if it's Melbane. If it's Melbane, because I couldn't do it to Melbane, so.
Right.
I don't understand why he's not speaking. Like, he speaks common, and as he says this, the dragon opens its mouth and as it starts to try to say anything, you can see the shackles searing into the skin, and he kind of yelps.
It's all right. You don't have to speak.
He kind of settles back into the ground. His eyes look incredibly sad.
Unfortunately, magic really isn't my thing.
It's mine. No one else's.
It's only mine. None of you can have it. Thank you, Chipper.
Hi, Chipper.
I haven't been able to see what she's been working on, but I bet you it's cool.
Haven't gotten any notifications.
We know that dispel magic won't work, right?
Yes. Yeah, you can pretty easily assume from your experiences with Melbane shackles that this is
What is this?
not gonna work.
You want to try?
That's
Yeah, I mean that might be the only option we have.
the moment I'm looking at something else that something else could do.
I'm gonna put my hand in my bag, and I'm gonna pull out a little bit of the mushroom stem that I still have in my pack.
I did not yet.
This is worth a try.
Yeah.
I'm gonna toss it to him to chomp on. Oh, I'm sorry, dear. You were supposed to eat that. Here, it's all right. Here, and
You were saying you
I'm
needed
gonna put it,
him to be
feed it to
smaller.
him.
In order to, I do have a spell
that
The dragon seems like it's waiting for for the deliberation.
it's I have spells that could do it, but the problem is having cast Identify on the last chain. I know that that the creature can't be teleported out of these chains.
Unless it no longer fits in the chains.
And Dad,
Do I know
feed
if
him
the
mushroom.
chains can adjust to size?
Can you cast Identify?
Why I cast Identify on the. Yes.
Oh,
I will
you
quickly
already
cast
did it on the
Identify.
other
Give me a
things.
second to cast Identify on these and see if they're the same as Melbane's and if they can continue with the body.
Okay. Well, you do that. I'm gonna run to the cliffs and see if I can see the boat.
Okay.
Because they are the same type as Malbane's, like they're obviously massively upgraded from what they used on the Dryad, and the like that was Red Queen's thing. This is not. So yeah, this would end up sizing down the way Malbane's did.
Okay.
But
Now-
But that trick might still work. Maybe.
Teleport or
Yeah,
not
this
teleport.
one, yeah.
Yeah, I would rather try that one.
We have another option. I'll leave you with the bag of holding.
the dragon kind of like noses your mushroom back
I
to
would,
you so that you don't waste it.
I take out a potion of gaseous form. Would I know if this would work? It turns them into a gas. They have no body. So technically,
It depends. It depends on how you feel like the sizing thing would work, really. Like, if you feel like because it sizes up and down, that they
yes, but
would...
can it grasp on to nothing?
Because it can't.
Well,
it
you've
can't-
identified it, so you would know. You would know, probably. It's going to stay with the wearer.
So even if they're a gaseous,
A gas.
yes.
I will say this applies to the shackles, but not the chains. If that makes sense.
So
the shackles
I could.
would stay.
So he would be able to move,
Mhm,
but the shackles would stay.
mhm.
I mean, that's better than nothing.
True. Try that.
We also have 2 of those.
Yeah.
So
Do I know if I could transfer it?
Transfer.
The shackles to another being?
No. Like, this has been built for this being's signature. As you say these things, though, are you figuring this out loud?
Yeah, I'm just spouting out ideas.
When you say the word transfer, the dragon's eyes get big and kind of examines itself. This kind of gets Melbane's attention a little bit as well.
What does that mean, Melbane? His reaction?
I'm not entirely sure, frankly. You see Melbane, like, begin to look at the dragon strangely, and he starts, like, warming up his wrist.
Detect thoughts, anyone?
I could attempt to cast detect thoughts. I could attempt several things. Detect thoughts would be a smaller thing that might not explode. Oh, static again.
Dang it!
Sorry, poser.
That was me. Bye, guys.
Thank you for letting us know. I'm thinking of things that might be useful that if they go sideways, it might not be oh so sideways. As I'm still getting accustomed to this.
And what about the, didn't you get a staff or something?
Yeah.
About that. Sounds a little rickety. Oh. That was a look.
Rickety proof. Helpful.
Possibly, or not.
Would that
We don't
spell
like
work?
Temporal?
Dang it, Natalie.
And that specifically.
You put diggy diggy holes in this.
Huh. Give me a moment with this.
If we figure out that we
Straight.
can
I think it
do
might-
something and that Melvin could have kept his hands.
Huh.
Except the thing is if he decides that we did something the first time, you might change it for the next iteration. So, okay, we used some spell, right? It works on Melbane. It won't work on the next thing.
So, the idea as I'm reading this, right, is that you're throwing this, like, back in time and then it pops back in. I just really like the way that this is used. If you can convince the dragon to purposefully fail, because it's not going to fail that wisdom save, but if you can convince it and persuade it to willingly fail, I think I'm going to allow that.
Alright, I will attempt to bring out my plan. So, I might have some. You're not there.
Nope.
So, I might have an idea.
Alright.
But. What was the dragon's name again? Escobar.
Pablo?
I know you. Can you understand me? Okay, good. We can communicate this way. I have a way that might be able to get you out. It will require you to attack me, but by doing so, I will then cast a spell that will be able to hopefully get you out of these, well, which will probably get you out of these shackles. You will have to fail the spell.
You'll have to not resist
You
it.
will not have to resist it.
Hmm.
If you can do that, I can probably make it work.
Roll me persuasion with advantage.
Six.
Wait, don't you have Fortune's Favor still? Or did you use that?
It only lasts for an hour.
The dragon looks very concerned at this plan. Like, it seems to understand that you're not intending it harm, but it's not so sure that it's not gonna do you harm. But if anybody else would like to step in and also try to help him persuade, I will also allow that.
Huh? Escobar.
Sorry. I went to the bathroom.
I know his plan sounds
Far-fetched.
far-fetched, yes. But I believe Melbane can probably vouch for us. We have good intentions for this, and if Henry says that he can make this work, then there's a very good chance that he can. He's very, very capable.
Honestly, he is quite capable. Melbane kind of holds up his hand and starts to do this. This was the first iteration of such a plan, and I feel as though they have evolved since then, and still much preferable, and this handiwork is all his as well. So yes, I would advise.
And this way you won't have to lose any of your limbs.
What he said. It's far easier, I'm sure, to not. The dragon kind of looks. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It kind
Bring
of.
my arms in anticipation of swipe.
The dragon like. And just like shoves you.
As soon as he goes to attack, I will use my action to cast Temporal Shut by closing him together and then doing that, and he'll disappear for a round. If he fails.
Everyone around make a con save.
Is this against magic?
Yes.
Is
Oh,
it, is
I
it
get
an area
advantage too
effect?
because of the
Yes.
staff
It's
of
an
the
area
Magi.
effect? Okay.
You get a what?
I get an advantage because of the staff of the Magi.
If that works.
That actually would, yeah.
And it's a deck. No, you said deck save.
22.
Con save.
Yeah.
22.
Or you-
Con, not
22,
dex,
nice.
I follow.
What was that?
11.
That's okay.
I'm not there.
Oh.
I went to go see if the boat was at the...
Oh, that's right. How'd you do?
Unnatural 20.
Unnatural 20. Okay. So you two do all right. Keith.
It's alright, don't worry. I rolled an 11, it's okay.
That's not terrible. Like that's gonna be oh my gosh. That's gonna be 6 points of damage. Not a hideous amount, but when this happens, the pattern for the energy of this magic that has been binding this
That was
dragon
my last
disrupts
5th level
and
spell slot.
explodes. It does not
Right.
have. It does not have what it is supposed to be guarding right now, so it corrodes the area around it. The dragon poofs out of existence and ends up poofing back like slightly to the left and is now free and standing there looking incredibly confused.
Is everyone alright?
How is your Colombian
Yes.
accent? I need him to have it. His name is Escobar.
Put in the
Joel?
Cuban
I have
beat.
to
That was
work
his
on that
name.
accent a little bit.
Wait, was that not his name?
I think
that's what Melbane said. I could be wrong.
I'm fairly certain it was too. So yes,
He's
you're
a
good.
drug lord for sure then.
Absolutely. Yeah, the dragon is definitely pulling a WTF moment right now. It just looks incredibly confused, and to your surprise, there is not a Colombian accent, but there is a very confused voice saying, "Can I speak?"
Oh, it worked. It worked, and I'll just fall back on my back and just like slightly pass out, but just like,
Henry,
yeah.
are you alright?
I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm just glad it worked.
I've been trapped for days there. There are others who came before you. they went to find me. But I am
found
not
them.
what they will find. Melbane kind of looks at the dragon.
Well, shit.
You're the queen, aren't you? She kind of turns her eyes to him. This huge huff through the nose.
That's the Black Queen.
Your Majesty.
Your Majesty.
Respectful head nod.
One may dispense with the formalities, dear. There are those who came before you. They don't know what they're going to find.
What are they going to find?
Me. Melbane kind of looks over. That's not the body of the queen.
Oh. And
Alright.
what took over your body?
Her dragon.
I believe that there were some mistakes in the process.
I would say so, dear.
My dragon did not take me over.
Uh-oh. Something else did.
Figures.
There was a bit of a trade that occurred because I was riding my dragon at the time.
Well, hell.
So, where my dragon has gone is a bit of a mystery. There was a devil with an amulet that I suspect currently occupies my throne. What do I hear? Oh.
Yourself.
I hear myself. That was weird. Sorry.
Well,
Poser also just learned something very important. I'm not sure that he realizes it or not.
do you know where your key is?
My key would be by my throne.
I was afraid of that.
Yeah.
Do you have the capabilities of a dragon?
Can we ride you?
And like she sprays this breath weapon that is like this molten lava looking effect. Got that. I'm not sure of some of the others.
Well, you should probably just take the boat anyway.
Well, no, absolutely. But I mean, once we get there, you having dragon capabilities may be helpful in reclaiming your throne.
I can
rather-
fly to
Embody.
the top of the tower. I suspect my boat will. My boat? Your boat will not fit me.
Probably not, especially not with the Tweedles.
You've brought Tweedles? You
It-
have. I can see them. I forgot.
Oh.
It's a rather long story.
This should be interesting.
Yes.
Well.
All right. Well,
So is there a saddle on this dragon's body?
Yes.
Don't.
no,
Do it.
It's a
Do it.
queen.
I would rather ride the queen as a dragon than get in a boat near
Right,
the
the
water.
queen is not a dragon?
And the 12-year-old boy in my brain just died a little inside. Oh. The
You're all
blush is even
children.
better when you're bald.
You're just children in another way.
Just takes over his whole head. You are opposed to water, I take it.
Yes, Your Majesty. I'm somewhat averse to it in this form.
Indeed. We will cut back to you guys. There's not a whole lot to say, although you do come across an area in the shore before you reach the area where the cliffs are highly visible, where there are two interesting places that look like grave sites, where it looks like vines have grown over and beautiful flowers kind of mark the graves.
Okay.
And as you round the corner of the shore, you do see, like, there's, and you can tell the other side of it before you ever get there, but as you round the corner, you can see the sheer cliff face and see that there is a large cavern in that there now waits a decently sized schooner.
Okay. And I'm gonna go back to the graves and sort of clear them. Does it have anything written?
Nothing is written. Their clothes have been left intact. It does seem that armor and weapons have been removed, but they seem to be laid very respectfully, to rest. Looks like they had quite a combat at some point, and they are well decayed. They've been gone for a long time. Just that look. Like, what are you doing?
Desecrating the bodies.
Excuse me. Dang it. Is when I left, was Janice still
Catatonic.
out?
I suppose I'll actually
magic.
roll for him. Oh, he actually rolled a 19, and I'm sure whatever his wisdom mod is would have let him snap out of it by now.
I think that'd be like a 24 or something.
Yeah, it would be high 20s, I think.
So I'm gonna run back and ask Janice to come cast Speak with Dead on these bodies.
Okay.
Because we need to know if we should take their heads with us.
We're dealing with that later.
So you he casts Speak with Dead, and do you have him do it on both of them, just one?
Probably just one.
Okay. One of them sits up, or I guess doesn't sit up because that would be very, very pushing daisies. But one of them begins to respond. It's the slightly smaller of the two, and in a female voice, Janice can hear this person. You've wakened me. Why? What is it that I can do for you?
I don't want to speak for Janice, but let me double check on the spell. I think he might only get a certain number of questions.
5.
5 questions. He would be smarter about this than I am. Who are you? Were you?
I was part of the Royal Guard. we were going to see the Queen.
What happened?
I have to remember what happened to them now. We were ambushed by Darklings. And then we won that fight. It was the sea monster.
Great.
Ah.
Okay.
We were
Okay.
drowned.
If it gives you some measure of comfort, your queen is safe. Let's see. Question. Does anybody have any thoughts? Because Janice isn't here.
I mean,
Janice would probably ask, if you were drowned, how were you buried?
I do not know the answer to that question. I assume that we were found after we washed ashore.
Is there anything you would like us to do with your remains? Or would you prefer them laid rest here?
If they could be laid to rest with the rest of the fallen guard, that would be our preference.
I mean, how long does it look like the bodies have been there?
They've been there for a while.
How do you
Like a couple months? A while?
Or like
couple of days?
decades?
A while?
Like, old enough that they're... Well, roll me... I mean, investigation. Like, you can clearly see the level of decay. It would be whether or not you know what that means.
Medicine?
Medicine, yeah.
Medicine or
would work.
nature?
Yeah, medicine or nature, I'd take either.
For Claudius, that's not great. That is 12.
He did better, I assume. I forget, he's
His wisdom's
intelligence or
pretty high.
wisdom? Wisdom, okay. So he looks... This was a lot longer ago than what we're dealing with.
Okay.
So you just lied to her about her queen being safe. It's not even necessarily the same queen.
Well, technically, all the queens are safe.
No, but we don't know if it's the same queen.
Yes, but technically, all the
But,
queens are
yeah,
safe.
that's not the point.
Still not quite a lie.
It's your queen.
Been taking
I mean-
lessons from your sword.
Thoughts, anyone?
I don't know why you're asking them questions in the first place.
Have you found the boat yet?
Yeah, you found the boat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just like to talk to dead things, I guess.
Shut up.
That's why all the houseplants die.
And where was home for you?
Home was in the Rune Jungle.
That's it. That's all my questions.
Now we have another side quest.
Nope.
Why'd you bother asking what you wanted done with their remains?
There is not a kingdom as far as we're aware of the Rune Jungle anymore. There's nothing we can do.
At least not right now.
Yep. Someday. Okay, I'll just head back and let everyone know that we have the boat.
You have found the boat.
Wait, do you know that the dragon's the queen, or did you?
No,
leave
I
before
wasn't
that?
there.
Ah.
So yeah, you get back and they have freed the dragon from its shackles.
Well done.
And they seem to be discussing the idea of the cat riding it to the tower.
Not a bad idea.
He found the boat.
I I found the boat. Thank you.
Oh, this is Her Majesty the Black Queen. By the way. This is Claudius, one of our other companions.
A pleasure, I'm sure.
She just kind of like nods, and this very dragony sound comes out. Apologies. I'm not accustomed to this yet.
I'm just gonna sort of like gesture to the slime armor. No need for apologies.
She reaches out and like,
That's never going to come off, by the way.
It comes off with enough water, don't worry.
she kind of
Just
like
not for
wipes
me.
it in the sand.
Shall we pop in the boat and head out, or?
Yes.
Yep, there's a sea monster.
I knew I wanted to be on the dragon. I'm gonna clamber up into the saddle.
Fair warning.
Is it a nice creature?
How do you know there's a sea monster?
We asked. The dead folks.
Janice looks very proud right now.
Yep. Riding the queen across the channel.
Okay.
I would not presume your majesty to direct you, so at your leisure.
She kind of kicks off the ground.
I could use a long rest.
I think that's in order on the boat, yes.
You guys get onto the boat. As a magic user, this boat just reeks of enchantments. Like, it's super magic-y.
Okay.
It's a nice boat. There is kind of a similar area that looks also like a study in one of the areas of the underneath. And it's very well kept for something that probably hasn't been used in over a decade.
Okay.
So yeah, there are hammocks and whatnot enough for all of you guys. Not so much the Tweedles, but there is room for them like up on deck. You could all sleep at the same time if you wanted to. Yeah.
Oh, Captain, my captain. Direct us, since none of us know how to sail.
All right then.
I remember something about stars on board and hulls.
Ooh.
Mainsails. Top of them. Nope.
He starts calling out different things like that sail there. If you'll hoist that up. The pulley
Rope,
right
where's
there.
Which rope?
That rope there. Good. Well done. And you, if you will turn the lever right there, if you'll turn that about 45 degrees to your right. Excellent. And he's just starting to get you guys situated. The winds are in our favor right now, so once we get this set, unless something changes dramatically, I
Sea monster.
feel as though we'll be in a relatively decent course.
Aye.
We should probably rest as well.
We should definitely rest. We should take watches.
By all means, I'll stay up.
You know you're going to bed.
Claudius.
No, actually, I'm fine. As you may recall, I took a caffeine potion.
Well, yes, that lasted the whole day, but you're going to need rest.
Oh yes. I don't know how long we're aiming for our destination. I'm just saying that I'll be awake for a while, supporting our captain.
Okay, so you take first watch then.
Sure.
And anybody else who wants to take watch, you are going to. Yes.
Really quick, is there a room 10 by 10 on this boat?
Yeah, I'm gonna say probably the study area or the area that would be barracks. It would be 10 by 10.
I'll probably do the barracks then.
Yeah, that would probably be more spacious than the study.
I will
Non-detection.
cast non-detection in the barracks room.
Nice.
So
Excellent.
Mr. Dream Man can't get us.
Very nice. Very, very nice. So yes, I will, I'm going to write that down so that I don't forget later. Okay. And, anybody who is on first watch, go ahead and make me your perception checks.
Do you want me to do one from riding on the dragon?
Yes, actually.
So you can see the imminent disaster.
Melbane is distracted by doing the whole
Captain thing.
captaining thing.
21.
Okay.
24.
Nice.
All is clear so far, but as you get to about, like, this is probably going to take you most of the night to get to your location. But as you get to the midway point, out in the distance, you two can see the top of a ship kind of close to where the Black Tower is. So there is another ship in the area already. And it has a black flag.
Oh dear.
Ho ho ho.
And the rest of the night goes by like there's no big problems, anything like that. You're all right. Yeah, no.
Would you if you're gonna be up all night, I have
Shouldn't be up all night.
a potion that will help you with staying awake and alert.
That might be good. I could use that. Unless somebody else wanted to just hold course and I could sleep right here, so if they needed me I could be available. Either or.
It's up to you.
I feel that you might be in greater need of those potions later than I might. I could be wrong, but I feel as though that might be.
If that's what you prefer.
I think so. I think you should keep that for yourself should you need it.
Fair enough. Well then I will bid you a good night, and I will go get the next watch.
Second.
Yeah, we'll take a second.
Who might be willing to keep the boat on its course?
I can try to do that if you tell me how.
Dee's like, oh, can I?
You should totally let D help.
With supervision, yes.
Melbane looks concerned. Yes. Yes.
Give him something inane to do. I'm going to bed.
Oh, you know what's very, very important in making sure that our course stays straight. We can have no algae on the deck. And I can see that there is algae on this deck.
Is there algae on the deck?
No.
But you're on second watch, so you can make it look like there is.
I don't have any illusion spells.
If you can work to get the algae off this deck, that will help us.
The clear, invisible algae. Get it off.
Oh no.
Yep.
I'll go up to D. Okay. Do you know what algae is?
No idea.
Okay, well, I'll hand him a sack. So, all right. So algae is one of these, and I will conjure like a. I'll conjure like a cube-looking object. It's like this is algae, and it's everywhere on the deck. So take this and put it in the sack.
All night.
That's literally what I'm going to do. Is as soon as he puts it in the bag, I'm going to make it disappear and make another one appear on the deck, and I will just keep doing it.
A third one! He's just.
And and I would let you guys know that there was a ship with black sails in the distance.
Okay. Perception check.
Mhm.
Why does it always bounce out? But it's good. 21.
You're also distracted by your piloting, captaining. There we go.
Doesn't he look adorable just sleeping there?
He's so pretty.
He is. Now I know what he is.
Oh, no.
Oh, there's another one
Bane,
right there.
no Bane. So
There's another one over there.
you're also vaguely distracted by this Tweedle running back and forth all over the deck, chasing these little cubes.
Putting it, and
Found
the sack
one!
doesn't get bigger.
Found one!
He finds out what algae really looks like.
Who's gonna tell him? Oh, there's another one over there. Are you going to tell him?
Well, no, but
Well done.
Yeah.
You go most of the night without seeing anything other than what you already know is there. As you begin to get closer, you do notice there is a shape in the water a ways out. And you hear a suspicious theme song in the distance.
Deedle-dum.
And with it
I
being
had an
9,
inspiration for you.
I feel like that might be the perfect spot to end this.
So do we get a long rest?
Yes, you do. You actually get to see all of this from the shore because you make it in much shorter time. And
You see us die from the shore.
you occasionally end up kind of hidden under the dragon's wing as these little darkling creatures occasionally seem to be doing some kind of a patrol. But like she just kind of shifts her wings over you and nestles herself into the sand around, and they walk right over her wings and don't even notice that you guys are there. Not too bright, these guys, but
Alright.
you do see that there is not far off. It looks like they set sail not long ago, maybe less than half a day out. There is a ship flying the Jolly Roger, and if you want to roll me a perception.
Oh,
A
sure.
man with a hook.
I'm not gonna.
Oh my
see it.
gosh.
Nope.
Nope.
Dun-dun-dun, 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 dun-dun-dun.
So yes, this seems like an excellent place to leave it for the night, so that we have all of our people before anything too terrible might have a chance to happen.
That reminds me of the character I was going to do for this, which was a lizard, dragonborn lizard, who was a cleric to the crocodile.
Oh
Makes me happy.
I was going to do that, but I changed my mind. So. Yeah.
But you gave me some excellent ideas. Alright, you guys. Hopefully you had a good time. I lost Chipper a while back
Aw.
because my screen did a weird thing and wouldn't let me do the thing on the phone. So hopefully we will be able to get this together so that next time we can actually have everybody at the same time, and you can see, I don't know if she's been drawing stuff like along with us or if she's doing her own thing and just has us in the background. But either way, hopefully it went really well for her, and I will check in with her in a minute. Everybody have a good time?
Oh yeah.
Excellent. Next week we won't have our normal Monday stream.
What?
We are going to also be missing people next Monday, and I knew that. We are going to try, I'm going to see if I can get everybody to do Tuesday. So theoretically we'll be doing Tuesday next week, assuming everybody can do it. Check out our Discord. I will post updates as I know what everybody is doing schedule-wise. And once I've confirmed that, I will put it in the Discord. But for right now, I'm thinking probably Tuesday. So we'll keep you posted on that, you guys. Anybody else got anything else?
Just some reminders that we do have the YouTube channel. We'll try and get that updated, get everything posted. It's just this week and last week that needs to go up. Also have our Discord server, so you can check us out there. Obviously, you'll want to check in on that for the notice about what the schedule next week is going to be. Until then,
Grab your bats and grab your balls!
and if you have a hammer, everything looks like a glass house. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
We weren't sure.